In the name of Allah, the most merciful, we will talk today about one verse from the Holy Quran. This is the verse number 6 from Surah Al-Hujurat, or the chapter 49. In this verse, the Quran teaches us how to deal with news. The Quran warns the believer from being unfair to others based on false news. And the Quran warns us that we will regret what we do based on ignorance, information, or if we are ignorant about the truth. I will explain the language of the verse so you can understand it and realize the wisdom of the Quran. And all the time in my explanation to these verses, I will emphasize on the fact how is the Quran is language, and how it was said is not something that any human being can come up with it, you know. In the verse, Allah is calling the believers, is talking to them. Allah is using the word ya. The word ya. Ya is a word of two letters. The letter ya and alif. And it is here in the verse, it is written by the way how the Muslim write the Mus'haf. The Mus'haf is the book that all the verses of the Quran are written in it. They usually use this letter Aleph. This one here. If you see this letter here, the one over here, this is the letter Aleph. You see this one here, this little one. So Allah is using this word or letter to call on the believer. It's formed of two letters, Ya and Aleph, and that's how it's written. This letter is used for calling on somebody that he is or she is or they are close to you. Like you can see them, they are present. So Allah using this letters to call on the believers. In the Arabic language, you use the letter Ya to call somebody. If you see him or if he's around you, you can say Ya George, Ya Mustafa, Ya Muhammad. The word ayyuha is formed of two parts, ay waha, and you write it ayyuha, and they use this word for alerting when you are calling, and usually it is followed by whoever you call. Alladhina amanu. Alladhina, this word, it means who, or who those, or those who. Amanu, believed. It is written here in the ayah in the Quranic drawing. Alladhina amanu. The verb amana mean believe. The verb amana mean believe, and when we use it for plural, it become amanu. So here is the verse is talking to a group, to the group of the believer, not to one believer. I want to emphasize on that because if you see her in the translation, in one of the translation, and a matter of fact, I saw this in most of the translation, it write, "O you who believe," like it is talking to one person. No, this verse in Arabic language mean it talking to a group, to all the believer. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu. You all you believed, who are believed already, and it is for every believer. It is come in the plural format. So now we're going to talk about the other part of the following words, which is start from here, and I like to take this whole part as one unit. In ja'akum fasiqun binaba'in. So let us translate it in English. The first word in, it means F. Ja'akum, this word here, if you see it, it brought to all of you. Ja'akum, brought to all of you. Fasiqun is a description of a person, and which I will talk about it in detail in this video. Binaba'in, with a news. Binaba'in, with a news. Here we have a problem, in a linguistic problem. The linguistic problem here is the word naba. In the Arabic language, it has a plural, which is anba. This one. In English, the word news, I don't know what is the singular form of news. The translator here who translate the meaning of the verse, Mr. Mohsen Khan, he used with a news. But what I want to emphasize here is we are talking about one news. One naba is one. It's not a lot of information. It's just one piece of information about one piece of data that a fasiq brought it up to the believer. If they brought it up to the believer, that's what the verse is talking about. If we look here at the drawing of at the writing of the verses, this letter ba, which mean with. If when we connect this ba to this one, and it will be written like that, bi naba in. You can write this letter Hamza on the letter Alif and Hamza on the top. You can write it like that, or you can write it like it's been written in the Quran the same way, you know. So this verse is talking about if a person who been described in this verse as fasiq, which we will talk about, come up to all of you or to you as a group in any time with a news, with a singular news. فَتَبَيَّنُوا, this word here, فَتَبَيَّنُوا, you got to make sure, make sure that the information is right. تَبَيَّنُوا, and we will talk about تَبَيَّنُوا. But before we go to تَبَيَّنُوا, I want to talk about the word فاسق. This word here, what it means and what is the description of the fasiq mean in the Arabic language and in the Quran. Fasiq mean a person that you cannot trust 100%. A person who is not straight 100% in his daily life. A person who drink too much can consider be fasiq. A person who lie is fasiq. The verse said, if a person like this come up with news, فَتَبَيَّنُوا, so make sure, investigate the matter. So this way you can avoid to attack or affect common people with ignorance. because you don't know. You are ignorant about their matter. You just heard from this guy who is fasiq, and you make your judgment or your decision based on a bad news. And فَتُصْبِحُوا عَلَى مَا فَعَلْتُمْ نَادِمِينَ. And then you will regret what you did, because you will later on discover that this was unfair or unjust.